All right, guys, so if you're like me and you're really confused about Chapman points, maybe anatomy is not your strongest point and you are just confused. Remember, Chapman's points are really high yield for the COMLEX, COMLEX step 1. So let's review some of the Chapman points right here. So this is the upper airway, upper body Chapman points. We're going to start with, as you can see in the pink here is the clavicle. This is your clavicle. Rib 1 and rib 2, this is your rib 1. Okay, and then this is of course your rib 2. And this line right here is the mid axillary line. All right, so now let's look at these points. So the first point for the ear is, you can see, is right here. It's above. It's above the clavicle and right where the clavicle and rib 1 intersects, all right? So this is the point for ears, middle ear, but that's the only one you really need to remember. Middle ear, okay? And then right underneath the clavicle, about 1 inch from the sternum, that is going to be your pharynx or the throat. Remember, pharynx is just a fancy medical term for throat. So pharynx, throat. Okay, and then you have right between rib 1 and rib 2, right at the sternum, or between rib 1 and rib 2, very close to manubrium. This is where you have the tonsils. And then basically all your sinus and your larynx are going to be on rib 2. Larynx is going to be 1 inch medial from the axillary line. So this is going to be your larynx. And then this is going to be your sinuses. Remember, these are anterior points. So now you will notice that I have put the middle ear surrounded by blue and the tonsillitis surrounded by blue. The reason is that both of them, the posterior points, so let me put this here. Posterior points are on C1. Some of them are on middle and the other one is on the transverse. Or so middle ear is going to be the transverse process, and in the middle is going to be your tonsils. Think of it as like ears are more lateral, so it's going to be the transverse process, and the middle of the transverse process is going, oh sorry, it's the upper edge of transverse process, and middle transverse process is going to be your tonsils. Okay, and then you have your sinus, larynx, and your pharynx. These are all surrounded by blue, so this means that they're all going to be on C2. The posterior points are going to be on C2, and they're all going to be between the spinous and the transverse process. So hopefully my simplified drawing and the simplified way just helps you understand and remember the Chapman's point for ear, throat, tonsils, larynx, and sinuses a little bit better. Please leave a comment if you have any questions. Wish you all the best.